Welcome back after the short break, and now we have a workshop on SDG integration into SMEs by Ms. Noha Hefny. Ms. Noha is the founder and CEO of People of Impact, a social impact innovation platform and network helping people and organizations deliver social impact and advance the UN Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs. Noha is an award-winning humanitarian, corporate leader, and a serial social entrepreneur with 2 decades of global experience in social impact, communications, and strategic partnerships. She worked for leading organizations, including the UN at the UNHCR, UNESCO, and UN Women, and then in the private sector as regional director at PepsiCo and McKinsey & Company, heading departments including communications and corporate social responsibility. She is a co-author, global ambassador for female civility, and founding member and ambassador Women Heart to Heart. She previously co-founded She is Arab, a platform for Arab women addressing their underrepresentation in leadership and in speaking roles. She serves as a board member and strategic advisor for several nonprofit and social enterprise boards, including Women for Solutions, World Women Conferences and Awards, the Agassi Foundation, and the African Women Health Project International. Selected as one of the top 100 women in social enterprise by the European Euclid Network, supported by the European Commission in 2021. People of Impact is a proud partner of this global event too. Thank you for all the support to GCPID Noha. We are proud to have you on board. Over to you.
Okay, I think it's fixed now. So first of all, thank you so much, Ms. Aparna and Santosh, for the invitation to this fantastic summit. And, it has been really inspirational to watch the lineup of speakers. And I'm sure everyone is adding so much values that will inspire many SMEs and entrepreneurs. So first and foremost, thank you as well for the introduction. I'm here first and foremost as a human being wanting to contribute to humanity and the advancement of humanity. So I'm delighted to be here and honored to be able to speak and contribute to this discussion on the role of SMEs in advancing the SDGs. So I will now be sharing my screen in order to get started. Okay, so as Ms. Aparna mentioned, I am the founder and CEO of People of Impact. It is a social innovation consulting and platform that advances the SDGs, and I'll be talking shortly about that, on how we are doing that and aligning our business fully with the goals. I also work as a consultant for UN Women at the moment, advancing partnerships. So I want to start with, talking about the SDGs. And I know that many of my fellow speakers have done that earlier and presented the framework. But it's very important to highlight a number of things around the SDG framework. Number one is that all the goals are interconnected. So as a business, as an organization, if you opt to work on one of the goals, definitely it will have an impact on several others. And also, again, I'll be giving examples about that. But, what we mean here is that, for instance, if we work on gender equality, there will be many elements that interlink, for example, with education, with SDG 16, advancing peace, and none of the goals can work without SDG 17, which is about partnership. So this is one of the key points I want to highlight. The second key point that I want to highlight is the slogan of the SDGs. So the slogan of the SDGs is leaving no one behind. Wonderful. And so the first point I was making is that all the SDGs are interconnected. And if we want to work on one, there will definitely be an amplified impact on several others. And secondly, I wanted to highlight, the slogan of the SDGs, which is leaving no one behind. And leaving no one behind entails that while we work on these SDGs, regardless of our industry or sector, it is critically important to think of the vulnerable people and to put them first, those who are most impacted by poverty, by hunger, etc. And also people with special needs or different abilities, again, not forgetting to incorporate them and mainstream them into our programs, and also looking at women or groups that are facing inequalities, for example, and always leaving no one behind. So I think I wanted to highlight these 2 points around the SDG agenda. So now let's look at some facts, because the context is very important to know, why these goals came to life, but also where we are today in the world with different goals. So today around the world, there are 689 million people who are living on less than $1.90 a day, according to the World Bank, and that is 9.2% of the world population. And we also have more than 1 billion people who lack access to electricity. And we have around 690 million people daily who go to bed hungry each night. The number is continuing to rise. And if it continues at this rate, it will exceed 840 million by 2030. So these are alarming numbers, to say the least. When we look at the situation, for example, also with refugees and forcibly displaced people, you have 82.4 million forcibly displaced people around the world, out of which 26.4 million are recognized as refugees, and 55 million are displaced internally within their own countries and have not been able to leave. Then if we look at girls' education, we have 132 million girls that are out of school. Climate change is continuing to increase the number of natural disasters, shaking our food security. And last but not least, 205 million people are unemployed today compared to 187 million in 2019. And obviously, this is as a result of the impact of COVID as well, which has exacerbated progress that has been realized around all of the SDGs. So when we look at this picture, we are clearly, living in an uncertain world, what we call the VUCA world. And it is critically important for all organizations, businesses, and others to look at how to build the leadership and the mindsets required to transform the world. And if we take VUCA, it stands for volatility, and that can be turned into vision according to a model called the VUCA Prime model, developed by a global consultancy. So if we look at the volatility, we need to develop as businesses vision forward. And vision forward can work very well with the SDGs because they are aspirational, they are ambitious, and it's an agenda to transform humanity all the way to 2030. If we look at the uncertainty, we can look at understanding. So understanding the numbers, understanding the context, understanding our customers, our consumers is very important to navigate a VUCA world, a difficult, uncertain world. When we take the C, of complexity in the VUCA acronym, that should be turned into clarity. So again, when we develop plans, when we develop programs, etc., it's very important to be clear about our goals, where we're headed, who do we want to impact, and is the impact that we are delivering going to be tangible? And lastly, ambiguity, which is the last A in the acronym of VUCA, can be turned into agility. So today, technology can make our life easier and faster in terms of implementing new solutions. We can advance innovation through technology and also having an agile mindset. So many of our organizations today can have a level of bureaucracy, a level of hierarchy. How can we make them much slimmer? How can we be more agile? How can we focus on one problem at a time in order to be able to solve a bigger set of problems in a strategic way? So I wanted just to highlight that in the context that, the SDGs were developed and in the context that we live today, it is very important to have vision, understanding of what challenges we are dealing with, clarity on the goals and the way forward that we want to reach, and having agility. So now, without further ado, I will be sharing a short video on the role of business and the SDGs. I hope that everybody can see my screen.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. We're here to discuss a crucial and urgent agenda that will have profound implications on our company, but also far beyond the four walls of this boardroom. It's time to talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, and what they mean for business. The SDGs were agreed upon by world leaders in 2015. These 17 goals are a universal framework aiming to tackle our most pressing social, economic, and environmental challenges on the road to 2030. These are big goals, and they aren't just goals for the developing world. Every country has work to do. They'll transform the world we live in for the better. But what role is there for us as a business? Isn't this just something for governments to deal with? Quite the opposite. The truth is that these goals can't be achieved without business. Businesses like ours are the driving force, an essential part of the process. But it goes further than that. As much as the SDGs need business, long-term business success hinges on the goals being realized. Let's look at the SDGs from 4 key angles. Environmental and social challenges are limiting growth and costing us greatly. The SDGs can reverse these trends. Let's act early and manage our long-term risk, stay ahead of policy developments, and protect our competitive position. Doing nothing will be a costly option. Business solutions that align with the goals stand to open up at least $12 trillion per year by 2030. We'll also create new jobs and better support the communities we operate in, helping us build trust with our governments, shareholders, and customers. Better information equals better decision-making. Disclosing sustainability risks and impacts and pricing them appropriately is where the market is headed. Finally, achieving the SDGs is beyond the reach of any one company. We must work together. So integrating the SDGs into everything we do will help our organization become more competitive, more resilient, and ultimately more successful. Together, we can turn these goals into business action, resulting in a more prosperous world for everyone. It's time to take action. Let's be part of the solution.
Okay, so as you can see from this video, the business case for the SDGs is very clear, and this is an agenda that sometimes is perceived to be one for governments to solve and to address, but actually there is a role for everyone to play, and businesses, and particularly SMEs, who are much more innovative, much more agile, can really add a lot of impact to advancing these goals. So I want to highlight, 3 important reasons why our role is so important. And especially as an entrepreneur, I'm very proud to share that, we are employment engines as businesses. We provide decent work and create opportunities, and that is SDG 8. And this is one of the primary and minimal things that we can do as companies as we attempt, to align our agendas and business strategies to the SDGs. The second is, as I mentioned, SMEs, entrepreneurs are innovators by nature. This is intrinsic to us. We are disruptors. We like to offer solutions to problems that exist around us in society and in the world. We offer new tech, for the tech startups. We offer new solutions for HR, for many of you who are working in the human development space. And so, again, more so, an important reason, to play a critical role in advancing the SDGs. We are agile. We are a connected generation. And last but not least, we have the ability to finance programs and solutions which can address the world's most pertinent problems. And as I say, we can finance programs and solutions. I know that many of the entrepreneurs or SMEs may say, but we don't have a budget for that. But, partnerships can be in kind. Partnerships can be through transferring knowledge. And the more strategic integration you implement in your business to integrate the SDGs within your business strategies, this is, when it will make sense, when the good of the world will come with the good of business. And here, again, your investments will also reap back a sustainable reward for your business. So again, this is why I think that we have an extremely important role to play. So what are the benefits, really, the direct benefits for business? Again, as I said, what's good for the world is good for business. How is that? Aligning your business agenda to the SDGs will improve your operations, will generate revenues. And how? Because you will be able to access new markets. This is a global agenda. The world more and more is becoming tech connected. So again, leverage that technology aspect, and also the integration of a sustainable business model, or the creation of a sustainable business model to access new market, to offer innovation in products and services, and to ensure the sustainability of resources. I mean, the way you source, you supply, and you market will make a big difference, and it will also potentially, save you cost if you are doing that sustainably. It will also, aligning your business with the SDGs can also enhance your reputation and trust with your stakeholders, including your customers, your employees, or your consumers. If you're a consumer-facing business, it can increase the demand of your products. We know that the new generation and millennials and zillennials are looking for, responsible corporate citizens that are giving back, that are conscious in their practices. And most customers that you have, and even investors, will be looking for conscious companies. And last but not least, your employees. Your employees require an agenda and an aspirational strategy for your company to align with, to aspire to reach. And together you can create a great impact in the world, but also retain your employees, and as they feel that they are delivering something meaningful. Okay, so last but not least, the SDGs and aligning your business with them, will make this a competitive advantage for you and an enabler for your business. And why I say that is that, it places you ahead of your competitors. It allows you to participate and to shape, public policy issues like health and wellness, like education, like gender equality. And it amplifies the impact of your communication and your CSR efforts. So again, why not be an active contributor to advancing economic, social, and environmental stability? So, having looked at that, it is critically important to look at, SMEs, typically don't have the time for higher level strategic thinking on sustainability unless the enterprise started out with such a mindset. But at the same time, I think that many SMEs will be surprised to see how good their company already is and how small tweaks can make them even better in terms of alignment with the SDGs. So many of us, we are implementing practices that are environmentally friendly, that are inclusive of women or other groups that are maybe facing inequalities, or they are implementing, for example, responsible practices in marketing or in packaging, etc. But at the end of the day, we don't really monitor that. We don't account for that. So if you do a review, you might be surprised that you have already a good foundation in place that you can build on. So I really urge all the SMEs to do so. And the reason, again, is that consumers are looking for brands that are making a big difference, and being able to tell a story that will differentiate an SME among competitors is a story about impact, is a story about SDGs, and it's a story about being a partner in building a better world. Another reason why you should look at this from a lens of business opportunity is that, according to the Business and Sustainable Development Commission, sustainable business models could open up economic opportunities that are worth $12 trillion and create 380 million jobs by 2030. So this is not, sort of a nice to do on the side of business, but something that can enable a prosperous economy for all of us in the future. And therefore, it's good for business. Regardless of the size of your industry, all companies can contribute. The UN Global Compact, which is the UN entity responsible for activating the role of business and energizing that for the SDGs, asks companies to first start by doing business responsibly and ethically, and to pursue opportunities to solve societal challenges through innovation and collaboration. So the starting point to aligning your business model to the SDGs is really about ethics. It's really about governance. It's really about having those checks and balances to ensure that you are doing business the right way. Once you have that in place, it is good to start looking at the alignment to further and more specific SDGs. And by doing so, you would be taking a lens of business opportunity. So how do we do that, and where do we start? Because it's a very comprehensive agenda, and it can be overwhelming for some SMEs. But I think if we break it down into these 6 steps that you see on the screen, I think it becomes a lot more simplified. So the first step really is identifying the SDGs that are the most strategic and relevant to your business. So for instance, when I used to work for PepsiCo, which is a global food and beverage company, we chose specific SDGs, and these related to, we structured our entire sustainability agenda around 3 pillars, and that was human sustainability, because we offer food and beverages, and therefore health and wellness and human sustainability is at the heart of business. The second was environmental, and that is because the business uses a lot of water, energy in the operations, and also we needed to look at reducing our carbon footprint. And then last but not least, we looked at talent sustainability, because we know that the greatest asset and valuable element of our business is our people. Without them, we cannot sell, and without retaining them and making them satisfied, we cannot, without developing them and developing their skills, we cannot operate. So having said that, I shared this example because I believe that every business has to choose relevant areas. You see a lot of businesses that drive social responsibility initiatives that are not interlinked with the business performance, and that needs to change. And once we take a business lens and a more strategic lens to SDG alignment fully with the business strategy, that starts to change. And this is when, again, you reap the rewards of doing this alignment from a business perspective. Secondly, once you have selected the most relevant SDGs to your business, it is time to set goals and KPIs to drive these SDGs and integrate them into your strategy. So it's not enough to say, I advance gender equality, or I'm going to work on poverty eradication. It is very important to look at the goals and KPIs relating to these SDGs and see which ones you can actually integrate into your strategy. And obviously, in the future, also measure and communicate around your progress. Number 3, this agenda, and as we've seen from the context, is of a significant magnitude. The challenges are big. No one actor can solve them alone. So join partnerships that can enable implementation and collaboration. Connect with NGOs, with different organizations that can give you the grassroots knowledge, that can give you the knowledge that the business does not have, and where you can have complementary and mutual collaboration. Number 4, assessing your existing initiatives and programs and looking at how you can align them to the SDGs. So most of our businesses are already doing things that give back to the community, that address some of these challenges that we've seen in the SDG framework. Now, once you review these programs, look at how you can make your effort more sustainable, how you can balance the short, medium, and long term, and how you can align to more SDGs. And by doing that, you are not starting this alignment from scratch, but you are already leveraging existing resources, programs, and initiatives. Number 5, making public commitments and launching new programs to drive the SDGs of priority in your business. So why I say public commitment? Because it is critically important to do disclosure, to create, a communication around what you plan to do. And many of us, we are hesitant as businesses to make public commitments if we are not sure exactly where we're going to be, for example, by 2030. But the reality is this is an agenda for progressive implementation. This is an agenda that we all know that the magnitude of these challenges is going to take time to solve. So it's okay to aspire. It's okay to challenge ourselves and our businesses to address these significant challenges with aspirational goals and public commitments, and also to measure year on year and communicate the progress that we're realizing. And if we are not moving forward, it's also okay to give the explanation of why these aspirational goals are not being met or how far we have achieved on them. A very good tool to use for this purpose, to start, with the alignment of SDGs with business, is the UN Global Compact, SDG Compass. And you have here the link, sdgcompass.org. This is an excellent tool to get you started. And again, I will stop here to show a quick video of 1 minute that can further iterate the point that I'm trying to make.
As a human being, you have ambitions, dreams, desires, wants, and needs. We develop, we produce, we consume, we build, we extract, we sell, we buy. But focusing only on economic growth costs us more than we gain, causing tragic consequence to society and the environment. War, famine, joblessness, natural and man-made disasters compound this trajectory. We can create economic growth while improving our lives and protecting the planet. We can harmonize our economic, social, and environmental progress to develop sustainably. We must transform our structures and technology so our economies adapt and our environment thrives. We can produce and consume sustainably to bring prosperity to our people and help our planet come alive. This is the story you are shaping.
Okay, so we're back here. And again, as you can see from this video, the time is now, and it is time for all of us to shape the story that we want to see for the future of our planet. And what I want to share is that, as a small startup, People of Impact, we have done that. We have aligned our business model with 4 of the SDGs, particularly gender equality, decent work, reducing inequalities, and the partnership goals, 17. And while we are focused on advancing the entire SDG agenda, we have chosen the most relevant aspects to our business. And how we have done that is that our core line of offering is really about gender equality consulting. So we focus on that in our consulting practice. We run events and activities and programs to upskill and build the leadership of youth and engage them in social entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurship and innovation. So again, there we advance SDG 8. And also, in our social innovation challenges, in our programs for youth, we always look at not leaving anyone behind and to reduce inequality. So we look at groups that are the most impacted. And last but not least, People of Impact is also building a collaboration community to enable collaboration for social impact and the advancement of the SDGs. So again, that is SDG 17. So it is very important to have that focus. And in the case of, for example, we have seen excellent examples from global multinationals like Unilever, where, again, they are very clear on what they depend on in terms of assets, basically their people, natural resources, financial resources, assets, etc., their suppliers, stakeholders, as the key levers for their business. And for that, they have aligned that directly with SDG 17, highlighting the importance of driving partnerships in order to enable these assets to be retained by their business. They have also looked at their purpose and vision in alignment with the SDGs, for example, improving health and well-being, reducing environmental impact, and again, enhancing livelihood. And as you can see on the right, it is directly related to the value they will create for the consumers, for top and bottom line growth. And they have clearly highlighted every single SDG that these strategy pillars in their business strategy are going to advance. So this is a great model of how a business can integrate strategically and align strategically with the SDGs. As mentioned, it is critically important to measure and evaluate progress. And so this is a slide from a sustainability report of also a global company. As you have seen, they have listed all the goals, and they have put a tick box against product goals, planet goals, and people goals to measure and highlight which goals they are working on. But also in the same report, they report numbers and they report on the KPIs and goals that they have set. So in closing, I'd like to say that for immediate action, if you wanted to start next week, or tomorrow, there are practical steps that you can already take. So one is, set policies, ensure equality, wellness, look at your ethics, your governance, and look at your business, how much it is a responsible corporate citizen in the world. The second step that you can tactically take is driving awareness and advocacy. Taking action, running initiatives, programs in the community and internally within your company to create sustainability for your people, for your operations, and also for your products, and while giving back to the world, and also looking at what external partners are actually doing, in government partners, NGO partners, international organizations, and offering really your support. The fourth thing is transforming your organization to be enabled to become a driver of the SDGs, and looking at the culture, looking at building the capability of your people, your leaders, your employees, making them really grasp the importance of SDGs, the importance of inclusion, the importance of having a role to play, and really challenging them authentically through aspirational goals relating to this agenda. Number 5, offering your expertise, mentorship for the youth, building a generation of sustainable leaders and social impact leaders. Offering expertise to social innovators who are already working actively to transform the world, innovating, using your corporate or business expertise to offer innovations for social challenges, designing for humanity. And on this note, talking about business running open innovation challenges in the sense that, bringing people from all walks of life, artists, musicians, academics, people from the international organizations, entrepreneurs, to all innovate and design with you solutions that can address your relationship with community stakeholders, or develop programs that can address societal challenges that are impacting your business. And last but not least, partnerships. We cannot solve these challenges alone. This is an agenda that requires partnership. And last but not least, the governance and the compliance needs to be really strong in order to enable the implementation of this agenda. And I will close here because I know that I'm over time. And I would like to thank everyone for your attention, and happy to take any questions, or feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Noha. It was an amazing session. I'm sure the audience would have really enjoyed the session, as we can see from the chat as well. And they would have learned a lot as well. And as you mentioned, we all have to work together to create a more prosperous world for everyone. Thank you once again, Noha, for joining us and for all your support. So we'll be back after a short break.
Thank you very much.